brought you here? And just as a popcorn, just a few words of what in your busy schedule is allowing you, why is this important to you, or what resonated with you, or what do you even hope to get out of it, right? So I'll just go in the order that you are on my computer, and I'm going to start with Lynette. You're first, honey. Just a few words, what brought you here? What curiosity, what?
I think genuinely curiosity. I haven't really experienced a sort of setup like this, like anyone. I've heard of people doing things like this before, but I've never actually experienced it myself. So I thought it would be very interesting to finally understand this is what's actually happening.
Thank you. Well, I ask and encourage you, please, please, please enjoy your curiosity, because I feel when we have that curiosity like a child, we learn so much, right? We're just open and available. So thank you for coming with that, and please add that to our mix. Marvin, you're next on my Hollywood Squares.
I just get a lot of joy.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to say Ron, but that's okay. Marvin, yep.
I get a lot of joy out of connecting with people, and I look for different ways to having conversation that allows me to connect with people. And this struck my interest as far as what are some of the things that sometimes get in the way. And I'd like to get some thoughts about that.
Thank you. Please make sure that you leave with that. Don't leave without it. Make sure you leave with some of those ideas. I think you will, but I want to be sure. Ron?
The opportunity to meet and hear from new people.
I'm sorry, somehow I couldn't hear. The opportunity to?
The opportunity to meet and to hear from new people.
Great, thank you. Wonderful. On my Hollywood Squares, Andrea, you're up next.
Hi, thank you. So my opportunity to be here is to review some techniques actually to help people through having conversations where they can't get past barriers.
Wonderful. And I believe you will, but make sure you don't leave without it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. Veronica?
Yeah, hello everyone. I am an independent consultant. This is my chosen career. I love what I do. I focus on intercultural, interracial conflict in the workplace. And so I practice mediation, restorative processes. And so it's just, it's more, it just feels like these days people are they're okay staying in conflict. And so when I read the description of this this meeting, I was really drawn to it just to see, what are other people saying about this, and also to be with like-minded people that are interested in, finding some guidance, answers, community, around this topic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Veronica. And I hope you can help us with some of your wisdom as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letitia, and just to tell you, Letitia, we can only see your eyes. I don't know if that's okay, but we might want to just lower your camera or something. Okay.
Okay. I think to be able to, listening is really important to me, to be able to listen and to help folks verbalize what they're holding back when they're not having these difficult conversations, when they're delaying doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I hope we'll give you tips that will help them overcome their delaying. Tom, I have you next on my Hollywood Squares.
So, like Veronica, I work with organizations, mostly organizations in conflict, but also sometimes organizations that are just trying to figure out what to do next. And I also use mediation processes and restorative justice processes. So we're very similar in that way. So I'm always interested. Listening, of course, is at the heart of all of that. So I'm always interested to meet new people, hear new people's experience about that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Sam,
Hi, everyone. Great
can
to
you
be
turn
here.
on your video just for a little bit? Oh, Tom went away with his video.
Yeah, I can. It's going to be a weird angle, but that's fine. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I'm in Baltimore. I'm a mediator. Yeah, I guess curiosity, definitely curious. I've been getting these emails for a while, and this is the first one I could actually make, so I was excited to come.
Okay.
But I think the topic of difficult conversations and my personality, despite being a mediator by trade, I tend to be pretty conflict averse and avoid conflicts. And I want to get some strategies around difficult conversations that I can have with people around COVID and vaccines. So anything I could apply to having those conversations, because I want to encourage people to get vaccinated.
Great. So a big one, right? To the conversations that we're avoiding, well, and all of us have some, to use some of these tips to no longer do that. Yes? How wonderful. Thank you, Sam. All right. So I'm going to start with the 7 agreements. And I promised that to you. And if you want to take it down on paper, I'm making a note to send it to all of you as well. When in the next 48 hours, I will do a follow-up and send these 7 agreements so you have them. But if you'd like to write them down, feel free to do that. So number 1 is having an open mind, right? And how do we demonstrate an open mind? We listen to understand. We listen to understand. And I say that, what's the opposite of that? I come to a conversation ready to convince you of my point of view. Can everyone relate to that? With just the sign of a hand, just raise your physical hand, right? You normally come to a conversation with your point of view, hoping they adhere to it. Sam was even alluding to that. She wants to tell people about vaccines. And I'm suggesting, hold on. Come first just to listen, to understand. Does everyone see the value in just that? Just a thumbs up, something? Yeah, or hand, right? Veronica, yes?
Yes, I'm nodding my head.
Okay, Lynette, thumb up. Thumb up, there we go. Thank you, Tom. Virtual is just fine. Number 2, acceptance. Acceptance includes both showing respect and suspending judgment. Showing respect and suspending judgment. And this is a tricky one because and I say that because even if we don't verbalize a judgment, people can feel it. So this is, again, when I said to you on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? It's really knowing in your heart if you're judging. Right? And so that knowing of self is key to showing up without judgment. Can I simply be here without judgment and show respect? And Lynette, can you do me a favor? Just copy the things that I asked everybody to put into the chat. And there's someone coming in on my iPhone. I don't know their name, but if you can add that to the chat, the few things we asked. Person on iPhone, do you have a first name?
Kevin.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. Kevin, in the chat, you'll see a few things that all of us have added about ourselves. If you could do that, we'd appreciate it. And if you can, come join our circle, our room here with your video on. It just makes it more rich.
I'd love to put my video on, but I'll be completely honest with you. I'm sitting by the pool and there's a lot of other people here, and I'm really I'd forgotten about this today. So if it's okay if I don't put my video on, is that all right?
So participate in the chat and you can still use your reaction buttons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you can add that to the chat, that would be great. I'm going to go to number 3, curiosity. Lynette started us off with curiosity. Now, what does that mean? Here's the key. You ask questions to understand. I'll say that again. You're not demanding they accept your point of view. They're saying, I love red. Okay, got it. You just heard that as an example. I love red. And a question might be, why is red something that you love? What is it about red that you love? Or what happened? Is there some event that happened in your life that that you decided then to love red? Does everyone understand the power of asking questions? Right? It's a wonderful opener, using curiosity to understand. Number 4, discovery. Note any common ground as well as any differences. I'm going to ask that when you share, as we go around later, that just take one moment, and I'm going to pick on Lynette again, and say, oh, Lynette, what resonated with me is your sense of curiosity. That's all I need to say. I don't need to repeat all of what she said, but at least I'm telling Lynette that I'm noting something that I can resonate with. It doesn't mean I agree. Please make the distinction. It just means that's something that resonated with me, and that then gives me a connection to her. Does everyone understand that? That's a real big thumbs up if you can. Give me one. Yeah, and again, the more research shows that the more we actually do something, say something in chat, do a physical nod or thumbs up, it tells our whole body we're here and we're engaged. Right? So let's do that. 5, sincerity. Number 5 is sincerity. And more specifically, be authentic. I'm showing up exactly as I am. And you may say, ooh, and please, I'm not offended. This is who I am. It's quite all right if I don't resonate with you. There are so many people offering wonderful advice. I suggest you enjoy their wisdom. I'm doing the best I can in welcoming you with my authentic self. So please, when you're communicating, be who you are. And be happy to say, this is my point of view. I statements, by the way, I statements help people feel that authenticity. This is how I feel, or this is what I understand. I appreciate they may have a different point of view. Number 6, brevity. To be as precise and brief to give the other person a chance to speak. So I'm going to be brief on that point. And finally, the last is own the conversation. It's like if I said to you, own the business. Some of us are workers and we're employees and we feel we just take orders, which for a long time, businesses function that way. But when I work with CEOs, I'm saying to them, allow your people to own this business. And if they have a piece of it that they belong to, they show up very differently. So even in this time that we'll be together for the next 35 minutes, please make this your time, right? That you want to get the most out of it. And again, I say, everyone who identified what they'd like to leave with, please ask questions to ensure that you do. Own it so that, this is the most meaningful and valuable to you. Are there any questions so far? Yes or no? Nope, I see a no. Marvin, any questions?
Well, I'm curious about the format and how it's going to develop. So.
Well, we only have 35 more minutes. We'll just throw pasta on the wall, Marvin. We won't throw anything at you specifically, though. we'll be answering some specific questions, Marvin, and then we'll be opening it for us to discuss anything everybody would like to. Okay?
Thank you.
No set format. This is very informal and open. So I'm just going to share some pieces of information before we launch into the questions. So listening, it touches the core need for significance. As human beings, when people listen to us, they are giving us their time, and this sends a primal signal that I matter. I'm going to say that again. Listening touches core need for significance. And Lynette, if you can write some of this down so we can remember why we would like to share this more. You know, when people listen to us, they give us their time, and it sends a primal signal that I matter. Also, we feel belonging, which is one of the most powerful human motivators. When listened to, we have a seat at the table. We're part of the group. We're in. So belonging happens when we actually listen. We do nothing more, nothing more. These are the gifts that we're offering. And last, I just want to say, feeling heard activates, you know, a basic human accomplishment. We have a voice. We have a chance to contribute. We're part of the solution. Isn't it amazing? Right? Can we just, in fact, we're going to do this right now. I just thought of it. We're going to take 3 breaths together. I want you to breathe in the power, the magnificence, the gift of us just showing up and our willingness to listen and give these gifts to anyone and everyone we encounter. Knowing that as we breathe together, we actually energetically connect more deeply to each other. And I'll leave it at that, all right? So here's what I'll say. As you inhale, though the count to inhaling is to 5, I won't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll say sa, ta, na, ma, sat, nam. These sound currents, we know the power of sound, have an energy that is far greater than the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just trust. Oh, did I not mention trust? Trust. And the exhale is to 8. And I'll say satanama 2 times. All right, so here we go. Please inhale to these 5 sounds. Inhale. Sa, ta, na, ma, satnam, and hold. Exhale. Sa, ta, na, ma. Again. Sa, ta, na, man. Ma. You're at the end of your exhale. Again, inhale. Sa, ta, na, ma, satnam. Exhale. Sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. Last time. Inhale. Sa, ta, na, ma, satnam. Exhale. Sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. If you can just for a moment, keep your eyes closed and breathe naturally. Let me share that this count of 5 on the inhale and 8 on the exhale brings us in harmony with the frequency of the universe. I also add this tip if you're having a hard time falling asleep at night or in the middle of your day feeling stressed, or just again want to connect to you more deeply. so that when you show up in the next moment, wherever you are more sincere, more authentic, more respectful, more curious. This will help you achieve that. How's everybody doing? Again, just either a thumbs up or something. Again, right? Just your involvement is wonderful. Thank you. I'll try to remember to include that breath again when I follow up with you in an email, so you have that as well. Two last yummy thoughts, and then we'll go into the questions. I've said this somewhat, but no matter how confounding your situation is, I suggest you ask, can I extend a sense of wonder to it? This means asking questions again from curiosity and seeking points of view that differ from your own. And so literally you are shifting from either my point of view or yours, so an either or, to shifting to both and, A-N-D. And is my most favorite word in the English language. In improv, if anyone plays that game, it's what that person said and what contribution I now would like to add. So your point of view, and here's another one. And so we benefit from this richness of many points of view, as opposed to saying only mine or only yours. Second point from the New York Times, it turns out that our instincts for how to convince others is often wrong. This is why two doctors who understand the barriers to full vaccination and the psychology of changing people's minds say the way to get people to change their behavior is not with arguments, but with compassion. Compassion. And all of these wonderful 7 agreements we just reviewed. We're ready to answer some questions. And again, I'll ask you to choose which one you'd like to answer. I'll put them in the chat. And after the person chooses whichever one they'd like to answer, please, whoever wants to go next, just mention what that resonated for you. So you give the person the gift of being heard. And then please share what you would like to share. So I'm putting that in the chat now. There are the 3 questions. Just choose one. I'll read them out loud just so you have a moment to digest. Number 1, what are the potential benefits you might receive from listening to others with differing beliefs? Potential benefits is number 1. 2, what fears, if any, do you have about how you will feel or what you will say or do when listening to people whose beliefs or experiences differ from your own? And 3, what, if anything, are you willing to do to overcome fears about listening to those with different beliefs? So again, just choose one. And after you go, of course, well, whoever goes first can say what they resonated with all of what I just shared, and then answer that question. So Letitia, since I love that smile, do you mind leading us with your energy?
No, that's fine. What resonated with what you said was, especially you were saying that "and" was your favorite word. It's one of my favorite words too, because it comes into my mind every time I'm ready to say "but" to people. Yes. I substitute an and think there must be more to say about that.
Thank you. And now, which question would you like to answer?
The first one, I guess the benefit of listening. I think my world, everybody's world, but my world is compact, and I take in so much more, especially when I see and listen to people from different areas and different points of view. And during the pandemic, I learned that, listening to people's stories was so powerful, and to be able to share that.
Wonderful, thank you. Share people's stories is a definite benefit. Who would you get to choose who goes next? We'll do it that way.
Okay, Andrea.
Hello all. So I'd like to piggyback off you, Leticia. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but
No, that's fine.
The listening and the asking questions really resonates with me because so I'm a mediator, and the biggest problem I have with parents, they don't want to listen to each other in the mediation, and they keep repeating themselves. And so I'm, reflecting what they're saying, but the other person's still not hearing it. So I'm trying to find a way to say without saying, can you just listen to the other person? They're speaking from their, their emotions and their heart. So try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and try to understand how they're feeling, but in a way. So that's what I want to say, but in
Andrea,
a way where.
Let me interrupt. So from what we just, in the 37 minutes we've been together, give me 3 things you could now do. What could you do?
Well, do you mean from the 7 agreements?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, ask questions. I'm sorry, I forgot the discovery, finding the common ground.
But what could you say to that parent? What could you literally just say? If they're talking, what could you suggest they do? I mean, you just said ask questions. Could you ask them? Would you like to ask so-and-so a question?
Yeah, I could say that.
Right? Is there something you're curious about that you'd like them to share with you? Use the same 7 points, Andrea.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that.
The other question, right? Common ground. Hey, parent, what resonated with you about what your child just said? Anything? Anything resonate with you? Just go down the same 7 agreements.
Yeah, thank you.
Is everyone clear? How simple, right? But powerful?
So instead of coming from me, let it come from them.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. So ask them. Anything curious about? Any understanding you'd like to have? Any deeper understanding you'd like to have? I mean, however you want to word it, I'm not suggesting how you word that. Okay. Do you want to answer one of these questions in just a few words, Andrea, and then you'll choose the next person?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
You're answering one of those 3 questions, and then you'll choose the next person? It's in the chat.
Oh.
Those are the questions.
Oh, yeah. What are the potential benefits you might receive from listening? Just understanding them better and, understanding where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. You choose the next person.
Ron Farrow.
Thanks, Andrea. What resonated with me was how well Andrea listened to you, Michelle. She said, yeah, and she had a big smile, which told me that she listened to you. for, what she could say to the parents. So that was very powerful.
Thank you.
For me, the question, I'll pick question number 3. What I'm willing to do to overcome fear of listening to those with different beliefs. I'm willing to give the other person the benefit of the doubt, to respect their beliefs, and to also accept the fact that I might change my mind after truly listening to them. I'm willing to do that.
And Ron, if I can just finesse that, and if not, change your mind, find common ground. Yes? So let's just say I love red, you love blue, and maybe we can agree, gee, we really enjoy the world of color. I'm just being very, very basic. Okay?
That's better. Yeah, that's better.
You may not change your mind, but let's find common ground. Let's have that as a beginning.
Much better.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You get to choose who you'd like to go next.
Veronica.
Thank you, Ron. Let's see. What resonates with me is sort of the hopefulness behind the intention of this conversation. To just try to, regardless of how difficult issues can be, all of these agreements are full of hope. That's what I can connect with. With the questions, number 2, what fears, if any, do you have about how you feel or what you will say or do when listening to people whose belief or experience differ from your own? Well, I think it depends on who the person is. I think that my biggest fear is having these issues with family, where as if it's colleagues or people who are not in my life, it's easier for me to see, okay, we have different values and that's okay. I think it's a lot harder when there's a difference in values in family who, because then we're talking about belonging, and then that belonging shifts. So I think that's the fear, is the disconnection with my family.
Do you mind if I offer, since we have a limited amount of time, just an idea around family?
Sure.
So for me, Veronica, growing up, if you would have said to me, what would I have wanted from my family?
Mm-hmm.
My answer would have been unconditional love.
Right.
Of course, the question is, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because most of us have conditions. You do this, you're a good girl,
Mm-hmm.
we love you.
Right.
Do these behaviors, not so good, we may take our love away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate what you're saying with family. It's certainly, in my opinion, we can all disagree, but in my opinion, maybe like yours, that's the most challenging.
Right.
And it offers you an opportunity to practice unconditional love.
Right. The love is there. It's the
Then we're disagreeing on the definition of unconditional love. So
Right.
as a child, I wanted, even if I had a fit,
Right.
even if I did something they thought was terrible, that they could still say, I may disagree with what you just did or said, and I still love you.
Right.
And so the opportunity is to separate their point of view, whether it be politics, vaccinations, what have you,
Mm-hmm.
with I still love you.
Right. I get that. I think for me, it's like, how close can we get? I can love people unconditionally, but it's not, they're not going to be part of my day to day. That's the difference. I love people unconditionally, but there's people that are going to be this close. There's going to be people that are, this far away. So I think that's the part. It's the length. Yeah.
Well, I'll just end because again, we have limited time here and this is unconditional love would be a very long conversation.
Right, right.
I'll just say to you, when we show up with whoever that is that has a very different point of view than you, when we, again, how well do you know yourself? How authentic are you? When you show up saying, I am sending this person, I'll use a metaphor like the sun. The sun doesn't say I'll shine somewhere and not elsewhere, right?
Right.
It shines.
Right.
It's an experiment you may or may not want to do. You just show up shining all this love to them.
Right.
And I just say, see what happens. Because there is nothing, I'll give you one other example. I've been diagnosed with cancer and a healer said to me, love your tumor as you would your beloved. And I was like, and the moment I began understanding that and doing it, the tumor disappeared.
That's wonderful. That's great. So for me, so I think, because I think I think we're getting to the heart of a lot of the issues that are going on. So like, so my son is gay, and my family is not very supportive of that. I can love them, but I can't be around them and hear all the things that they say that is very hurtful to me and my son. So I can love them, but I can't be close to them in that.
So then, and so then, you can be very happy and content with all
Right.
sending them unconditional love. So the
Right.
difficulty, the fear is no longer there, right? So then,
Right.
and you need to then own, there's no issue here. I love them unconditionally. Their opinion is fine. And yes, I'm sorry for the background noise. And yes, as you say, right? So the fear, so remember when you said what
Right.
fear, no fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
And I miss them. I miss the connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. No fear. If it was helpful, wonderful. If not, please just throw it out.
Yeah.
And I hope it might have been helpful for some of us here. So who would you like to choose, Veronica?
I will pick Tom.
So
So you begin with what resonated for you from what either Veronica, from what Veronica just said, and then pick one, answer one of those questions.
well, I think one of the things that resonated was your mention of brevity. Because sometimes I tend to respond at great length when it isn't helpful. And it's important to remember. And again, as somebody who works with conflict, it's less about them understanding me than allowing space for them to understand each other. And your three questions are interesting to me because they all are all about me and the benefits that I might receive. That's specifically in the first one, but they're all kind of underneath that. And for me, what's important is the benefits that the others might receive by listening to each other. And the beginning of that, as you were saying and Veronica was saying, is in my listening and modeling how one might listen, and often being explicit in how to listen and helping people and creating the space for people to listen to each other. So that's what I would
Wonderful. Thank you.
contribute to this discussion.
Yes, yes. Yes, us modeling there as parents, we all know, or godparents, or aunts and uncles. Yeah, when we model, that's the loudest message.
Yes, and
Right.
also it's kind of beyond the scope of what your topic is today. But there was a lot in that last discussion between you and Veronica that is really about forgiveness, which is that unconditional forgiveness, which doesn't mean that the event or its consequences have gone away, but the unconditional forgiveness also allows the space for the unconditional love.
That's great.
I have, there we go. So can you, thank you, Tom. That is
Let's see,
something I resonate with as well. Can you choose the next person?
who can I choose? I'm trying to remember who's spoken. How about Marvin?
There we
I
go.
don't think
Thank
you've
you.
heard from Marvin.
So I think, again, with Veronica, what resonated with me.
So you're
we-
choosing what resonated with you regarding what Tom just said.
Oh, what Tom just said. I think that the opportunity for people to respect and enjoy each other, just without having to accept their point of view, without each person having to accept the other's point of view, is possible when they each have the freedom to express what they think and feel, and just know that that is that person. It's not, if I have a thought about something, it's based on who I am, where I'm from, how I was brought up. It's based on me in a way that somebody else may have a very difficult time of knowing because they haven't experienced what I've experienced. So I know when somebody has a point of view, it's based on who they are, and it's not something that I have to be in conflict with. That's just their point of view.
Wonderful, wonderful point. And I'm now, we only have 8 minutes left. I'm so sorry, Marvin. So can you pick one of these questions that you'd like to answer? Because I want to give Sam a chance to
get to it.
participate. Thank you.
I take the first one, the benefits to me, and mine is it's personal. I'm not working. This is very personal, what I like. But I found that in each person, inside each person, there are great treasures. There's wisdom, and there are wonderful stories. And everybody knows something that I don't know. So I can learn something from everybody. And the benefit to me of being a good listener is that I can explore and discover those things in each person. And that's very exciting to me. It gives me great opportunity of connecting with people. And I get great joy in feeling connected with people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think we're ready for you to pick our last person, Sam?
So who hasn't gone yet?
Sam?
Sam.
Yep.
Okay,
Hi.
Sam, come on back, Sam.
I'm here. Thanks, Marvin. What really resonated with me was when you were reminding us to think about and reflect on people's lived experiences and how that shapes their thoughts and behaviors and experiences based on what they've been through. So I think that's a good reminder that we all come into spaces and it's the world from our own unique perspective, and that forms our perception of reality. So I appreciated that reminder. And I think I'll answer one in terms of potential benefits. I just finished Adam Grant's Think Again, and I think what can be really helpful when we're listening to people that have differing opinions and beliefs is it allows us to think again about things that we might not have considered or reconsidered, and potential for the joy of being wrong about something, and all those learnings from others that are gained from those experiences.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That really touches my heart.
Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. So I want to respect our time, and however, I want us all to leave with what we hoped to leave with. And so I would love to ensure we just go popcorn style around to share what takeaway, right? Not only what we're taking away, but maybe what one thing we might do as a result of that. I just want to say that, to share this thought, we created this world, yes, with the problems and with all the beauty. And we wrote the story together. And we write the story now. So let's write a better story for the future. And with that suggestion, I'd like to again go around and what are you leaving with, and what are you willing to do to contribute to that future? And I'll go around again my screen, starting with Lynette. What are you leaving with, and what are you willing to do?
I think one of the bigger things I'm leaving with is in our question conversation we just had, the idea of being able to recognize that different people come from different perspectives and beliefs because of how they were raised, and how we can give them an unconditional love while still sort of having our own boundaries. And that's what I want to take forward and go out with, having that kind of perspective of there's a reason why you might say these things, and even if I can't change it, we can still have a conversation about like why, and like why is that hurtful.
Yes, yes. No need to change it, actually. We start with the gift of listening. That in itself is actually loving. That is loving. Ron, you're next on my board of Hollywood Squares.
I appreciated the session today. As usual, we're all different, and I learned from everyone. Everyone added a little bit of wisdom for me, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to use what I heard and become a better person. So I appreciate everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you. So be it. Amen. Thank you, Ron. Andrea, you're up next.
So what I think that I'm taking away is not trying to, in mediation, because that's what I'm here for, to kind of hone my skills, not trying to be the person to get it out of the parents, but, letting them ask the questions between themselves and giving them that platform for each other.
Wonderful. Let me know how it goes if you don't mind. I'd love to hear. I don't know if you know, I was a mediator for many years. I'm not now, but yes. It's a wonderful laboratory for learning. Wonderful, wonderful. Veronica?
Yeah, see. Am I muted? No. Okay. So I actually came up with a good direction for myself. I'm just going to read it. So good conflict resolution sometimes results in connection, and sometimes it puts us on the path to a healthy, needed mourning.
Sorry, I muted myself. What was the word after healthy?
Needed mourning.
Needed mourning?
Yes. Like to
Okay.
mourn. Yeah, to mourn something.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought M-O-R-N-I-N-G morning. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you just repeat it one more time?
Good conflict resolution sometimes results in reconnection, and sometimes it puts us on a path to a healthy, needed mourning.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That resonates with me very much. Letitia.
A a reminder to assume nothing. And to ask questions that need to be asked, seeking first to understand.
Wonderful. I feel like I'm going to be saying this to all of you. Let me know how it goes. Please. And I'll share it. What you share with me, I'll share. I mean, we've started a community here. So let's share our wisdom. What's the expression? I'm smart if I learn from my mistakes. Geniuses learn from other people's mistakes, right? So as you share your wisdom, I get to benefit. Marvin, I'm sorry, and I know we're going over. Everybody, is it okay? It's 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be about 2 more minutes. Is everyone okay to stay 2 more minutes? Okay, thank you. Marvin, if you can be brief, what is your takeaway?
I think the big takeaway for me is I may listen and look to understand and have an opportunity to do that by listening carefully. But I also look to see if the other person is interested in listening and hearing about me. And for me, there are a lot of people around who are, and a lot of people who aren't. And I'd rather spend my time with people who are interested in listening the way I like to listen.
Understood. Thank you. Tom.
That's interesting what Marvin said. I think that's a very valuable insight, but also if we're going to have broader conversations in society, how can I listen to people who don't want to listen to what I have to say in a way that is open and accepting enough that they will be willing to speak and perhaps in the end to have a real conversation, which means that we both listen to each other.
Yeah. Just another perception. And Tom, if I can just offer what's coming to my heart to say. Again, it goes back to modeling. When we model it, and it may not happen the first time. I mean, think, right? We don't learn from the first encounter. But if we are with each of you, right, demonstrating, modeling that listening, that open conversation. Someone's coming now to join us. Interesting. If
said the time wrong.
Yeah. So if someone is experiencing being listened to, we never know. We never know, right? What that could do in terms of helping them shift. And there is also, just as we talked about on practicing unconditional love with Veronica, it's an opportunity to practice having no expectation, right? That's a big one. That's a big one. Doesn't mean we don't have boundaries, but can we encounter without having an expectation? Just food for thought. Welcome, Christine. We're actually ending here. We are just running a few minutes late. Sorry you were unable to join us sooner, but welcome. And Sam, would you like to share your takeaway?
Yeah, thanks. My takeaway is I think I came in here really looking for ways to navigate difficult conversations I've been hesitant to engage in. And Veronica's story with her son really resonated with me and made me think through just the importance of boundaries. So when I engage in those conversations, having boundaries is going to be really important to me going forward.
Wonderful. Amazing. Can I please say yes, thank you for this incredible hour of, I'll say, at least this is my experience, really authentic sharing and willingness to connect. I apologize for the sirens. And it doesn't bother me anymore, but I just feel the need to say it to you. So I apologize with that. And I'll just end on a scale of 1 to 10, just with your fingers, right? Where are you now feeling? Okay, Ron's kept his 10. I'm at a 10. We've got Lynette to come to a 10. Okay, I think, I can't tell. Letitia, is your 10 up? I can't tell your other thumb.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
10 is up. We've got Andrea. We got 7 for Marvin. Okay, Marvin. Veronica's got to go. Veronica, you were at a 7.5. Oops, we lost her. And Sam, where are you now? You were at a 7.
Bye.
I think we just lost Sam. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It was a great pleasure. Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, Ron.
Thank you,
Bye,
Michelle.
Bye, Marvin.